Hello, busy dads and busy people everywhere. We are live. Um, I'm just going to hang out a little bit and wait for some people. Hopefully, there will be some people coming to join us, coming to say hi. I just felt such a kind of overwhelming sense of excitement and enthusiasm about this new training year that I felt a spontaneous impulse today to go live to address all of you people directly and have a conversation. I'd love to field your questions and really just greet you properly and kind of get oriented for this New Year's effort, 2026. Welcome, Spartacus. Welcome, Waylon. Great to see you guys. This is a big year, and I thought that I would encourage people to come and share their training goals for this year. Come to me for any questions that they have, advice that they're seeking in their practice, to share success stories, to share setbacks, to just come together as a community. I'm going to share with you guys a couple of my resolutions. If you've been watching this channel, you saw me really putting my practice kind of on the back burner last few months, towards the close of last year. There were lots of 40-minute sessions, 10-minute sessions. There was one day when it got to Sunday and I had to do 20 sets of 2 minutes over the course of the day to get my 40 minutes in. And my resolution this year is to stop doing that and to really give the practice its proper time. This practice is built to be infinitely flexible, and it can be when you need to be. And that hasn't changed. But you also need a plan A. You need a default weekly structure. You need to sit down with your timetable and with your priorities and figure out what is a sustainable, repeatable template for a week of hard training. Because if you don't have that, several things happen. One is that the training gets very dispersed, and playing around with the timings. I found the time frames of the session is really not at all helpful. You don't warm up properly often because when you're training, you're in a rush. You're often approaching the training as an afterthought, which means you're not properly focused. My experience really has been that, thank you, sir, if you don't set aside the time to properly prepare for your sessions, your practice will go nowhere. My practice right now is at a pretty low ebb. My 6 counts especially are very weak at the moment relative to where they've been in the past. Numbers that used to be routine for me are very difficult at the moment. And I know that that's me paying the price for having neglected my practice over the last few months. And so this year, 4 good old-fashioned 20-minute sessions per week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I will chain together weeks like that. And I will build to lifetime PRs, no doubt about it. I've got 330 in my sights. I've got 155. And I'm fully committed to getting there this year. This is a wonderful time, the beginning of the year. Look out ahead at the next 12 months. Look backwards at the past 12 months. Think, what can I do differently? And what should I aim for? And how will I get there? Like I said, for me, I want lifetime PRs this year. I'm hunting big game this year. And then my question is a question of the means to the end. How do I do that? My resolution is take the time. Create an island of calm 4 days a week where you get to put in the 20 minutes of work. That is exactly what I will be doing. Wow, we've got a serious practitioner among us. 133 seals this morning. Excellent. And a request for some follow-alongs that go beyond level 4 on the Busy Dad training app. Absolutely, my friend. I would be very, very pleased to oblige you. I've just got to get this upper body to cooperate with me because, as you might have seen yesterday, I'm struggling for 122 right now. So if you and I were in a room together right now, you would dominate me. Um, it won't be long. It won't be long before I am back where I needed to be. And when I'm there, I will for sure, my friend, make you some follow alongs that will take you all the way up to the graduation numbers in this program. Make no mistake. All right, we got a question. What do you think about implementing 8-count burpees? Good question. One that I've had before. I presume you're thinking of you know, like a 6-count, but with 2 pumps, with 2 push-ups. And my advice to you there would be, if you are able to train the Navy SEAL, then stick with the program and don't think about movements like that. The 8-count won't give you the upper body stimulus that the Navy SEAL gives you. It won't give you the lower body stimulus that the 6 counts give you. It's kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a wonderful movement, but it can't deliver what the two other movements can. It's kind of a halfway house that doesn't really give you the best of either world. It sort of gives you the worst of both worlds. Now, some of the people I work with aren't yet in a position that their upper body is ready for Navy SEALs and they need to work their way up. And if that's you, then for sure, as a halfway house, start working in some 8 counts, then you can graduate to 10 counts. And then once you've mastered the 10 count, you can graduate to Navy SEAL burpees. But if your upper body conditioning is there, I would say don't bother. We have Spartacus, a 1C practitioner. Greetings to Tobias, my good friend. Yeah, man, listen. Spartacus, you're in a great position. For what it's worth, that's about where I was when I started my training practice. I was in the 130s when I first tried out a 6-count session over 20 minutes. This is before we had all of the codification of the Busy Dad program, but that's where I was. It's been coming up for 6 years now. And it's just a question of consistency. 80 minutes a week, it's not a big ask. And if you can train together 50, 100, 200, 300 weeks, it's unbelievable where you will get to. I never thought that I would have anything resembling cardiovascular fitness. I was fairly strong, but cardio was never on the cards for me, and yet here I am. And that's just a question of chaining together the weeks. So Spartacus, man, whatever else you do, stick at it. Great question from Jacka. What do you think about the EMOM format for 6 counts? You put in 10 reps a minute for 50 minutes to get yourself a nice 500. That's a great session. Congratulations. Nothing to sniff at. What I would say is the EMOM format is kind of deceptive. Or here's what I'd say. My objection to the EMOM format is that at the beginning of the workout, it gives me more rest than I need. I do my 10 reps, they take 35 seconds. I don't need that 25 seconds. Later in the workout, maybe my reps have slowed down and it's taking me 40 seconds to get them done. Now I've only got 20 seconds. It's giving me less rest than I need. So when I'm working in sets and reps, which is rare these days, rather than going every minute on the minute, I like to do what I call rest hoarding, where although I'm orienting roughly towards the every minute structure, I'm going to hoard maybe 10 seconds of rest on the minute for the first 5 minutes, build up a 50-second buffer, use that later in the workout. So that's one thought about the EMOM. But then the other thing to say about EMOM is it's a blessing and a curse insofar as I've got 10 reps to do. The quicker I do them, the more rest I get. I'm greedy for rest. So the format incentivizes sprinting through the reps. Now, 2 dangers there. The one danger is that you're training them together so quickly that the technique falls apart, you expose yourself to injury. My reps are so much better when I've got a little island, even if it's a 4-second island for each rep, versus when I'm going back to back. So there's a worry about degradation of form when you're moving in sets. But then the other thing is, because it incentivizes going so quickly, you can often burn yourself out without having anticipated, you know. So you can move really quickly and get these nice big rest periods, but then you get to the 13-minute mark and you're absolutely, exhausted. Um, what's my approach? Tim's asking, to the ups and downs in my training, and how do I balance rigidity and flexibility? Great question. Great question. What I'll say to you guys is, like, it's coming up for 6 years of consistent training for me, and I have scaled the peaks and I have plumbed the depths, and I've done that several times. I've graduated the program 3 or 4 times. It's usually a year to 18 months in between, and I've learned to be very patient. All I can ask of myself is that I work hard in a session, and I do what I can recognize as hard work. And if I do that, I really, on the one hand, I'm chasing that number and I want it badly, and I'll do everything that I can for the number. I need that number to pull the best performance out of me. But on the other hand, even if my numbers are dipping, if I'm content that I'm working hard, I've got all the time in the world. I'm not going anywhere. The numbers will come to me. And because I know the numbers will come to me, I'm able to stay quite calm when there are dips in the practice. Like right now, I'll have to work really hard for 260 tomorrow. That's the plan. But because I've been here before, and because I know that I can go from here back to graduation, and I know that with the right planning, I will do that, I'm very sanguine about that, about those setbacks. So I would say, trust the process, have a well-functioning, well-oiled practice. And if you keep up your end of the bargain, 4 sessions a week where you put in some real work, the practice will take care of the rest. And knowing that, you can be quite calm when you have setbacks. I Shift Focus has asked, am I keeping to just 10 pull-ups a day for back training? Okay, so that is the default that I recommend. That is what I'm keeping to. But what I like to do as well, at the moment, just because I was away for 5 weeks recently, and there were no pull-up bars anywhere. I looked hard. I nearly pulled down a sort of wooden hut in the middle of the African savannah, trying to find a pull-up bar. And so I gave up on the pull-ups, and I've been so hungry for pull-ups that I've decided to put on my 20-pound weighted vest for the daily set. That's not something I've done in the past. So something that you might consider if you're feeling bored with the 10s is adding a little bit of resistance, but totally optional. Okay, we've got a question from Spartacus. Watching my Navy SEALs, I raise my knee to the chest as I'm rising from the push-up position. Great. And whereas Spartacus is saying he has trouble integrating the knee raise with the ascent out of the push-up, and so what will instead happen is he comes out of the push-up and then, almost as an afterthought, brings the knee to the chest. And you see this quite often. It's definitely a muscle memory thing. It takes a little while to educate the body. The Navy SEAL is a very bizarre movement. And a lot of my clients that I work with as a coach struggle with this element of the movement. Big shout out to Rossa. I don't know if he's watching. Rossa, if you are, mate, you owe me a call. But Rossa, a really excellent practitioner who I work with in Ireland, came up with a cue that several people have found quite helpful. So here it is. When you're in the base of the push-up, so it's count 3, and you're ready to push out into the ascent, which is the time that you want your knee to come to your chest. Suppose that you're starting with the right knee that's coming to your chest. What Rossa recommended, and like I said, a lot of people have found this helpful, is in the base of the push in count 3, transfer your weight a little bit onto the ball of your left foot. And what that will effectively do is it will sort of push the right foot off the ground, and it'll force the right foot to come up with you as you come out of the push-up. And then you go back down, and now you're going to put a little bit of weight on the ball of your right foot, And again, that'll push the left knee to come up with you. And I've seen a lot of people learn to coordinate the elements of the movement by following that cue. So Spartacus, I hope that that helps. Give it a try. Eugene, good man. You don't need to introduce yourself to me, my man. I know you well. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Glad that you're still putting in the work. Really. Good to see you. Okay, does anyone have any other questions, or shall we, why don't we put some 2026 goals into the chat? Why don't you guys commit yourselves a little bit here? I've already nailed my colors to the mast. 330, 155. I'm going to make them happen. Hey, Austin, great to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Do we have any 2026 goals? Any practitioners wanting to come forward and state for the record what it is that they're looking for this year? All right, deafening silence. Well, if people put it out there, we will give you our encouragement. Boom, boom, 88 kilograms level 3. Wow, 88 kilograms. All right, Tobias, let's do it, man. What else have we got? 150 in 20 and a 5-minute plank. Solid. Consistency. Boom, absolutely. 306 counts in graduation seals. You hit it, my friend. Great to see you, Monty, my friend. Brown t-shirt for Alex, 275. Yeah, man, we're doing that. No shadow of a doubt. Spartacus, for sure, next level, man. Yeah, you're new to the practice. You're already hitting 130. We're talking level 2 at least. Rossa, my man. There he is. Hey, really good to see you, my friend. Really, I've missed you. Okay, so we want to jack up the shoulders at 1D, hit level 2, get back into it. Solid, man, solid. Listen, all of these goals that you've laid out are achievable, but I want to come back to the one from Travelus Maximus, consistency. I got to tell you, my friends, there are some people in this chat who know what I'm talking about, but you can only know what I'm talking about if you've done it. The feeling of looking back over 12 months, and we're busy dads, we're busy people. You had all kinds of shit going on in your life, all kinds of problems to work through. Of course you did. But to know that you were completely consistent, that there is a line that you can draw through the entire year, week in, week out, with that just calm dedication of a practitioner, that you didn't miss a minute. There's nothing like it. There's no feeling I've ever experienced like it. There's a kind of self-respect that I've been able to tap through my burpee training that I've never experienced. And you can, when you've done that, when you've been consistent in your training practice like that, you learn to trust yourself. I am a man of my word. My word is my bond. The only thing keeping me training was my word, was my commitment, and yet I honored that commitment. So my commitment now starts to resonate and carry power with it. And when I know that my commitment has power to it, man, like when I can trust myself to honor my word, people feel that radiating off you. There's a new kind of self-respect you can experience. And the only way you can do it is through action. It's the only way you can access that feeling. And so I would say to every single one of you guys, if you've ever missed a minute of your training practice, okay, hold yourself to higher standards this year. Whatever else you do, don't miss a minute, not a single minute. Be religious. Get the 12 months behind you. Get the 12 months under your belt. It's the best. It's the best feeling. And so if you do that, and if you, as I said earlier on, if you take the proper time for each session, and if you bring a readiness to work hard in every session, the numbers will come to you. All right, we got a couple of minutes. Anyone have any other questions? Anything that they want to talk about? Alex is in the chat. Alex and I had the great pleasure of training in person. I strongly recommend you guys go back and watch that video if you haven't. We met up in South Africa, of all places, and we had a really glorious training session together. It's a very powerful experience training alongside someone. You know, what we do here it is so solitary in a certain way. Um, to count in unison with another practitioner was a really powerful experience. Um, of course, in one sense, we're always counting together in every session. I really do feel like you guys are in there with me. I was filming a follow along for the app this morning. And I try to film a follow along for the app at least once a week. And when I do, I really like to, you know, it's very important for me to remind myself I'm working through, say, 128 reps it was this morning. You know, I had to remind myself that there are people for whom 128 is work. I had to work with them. And I do that by, you know, really imagining you guys in the room with me. Sometimes I put a face to it, one of the practitioners that I work with one-to-one. So it's a very powerful experience for me when I'm training to know that you guys are there with me kind of in spirit. But to train with a flesh and blood, sweating, panting human being next to me, that was really powerful. Okay, Jacka has asked, do I have thoughts on Let There Be Reps training? What I want to say about Let There Be Reps is I really admire him very much. I would recommend you guys check out his channel. I mean, for one thing, the first thing you'll notice is he has an excellent physique, but also there's just a bloodthirstiness about the way he trains that I love. Really inspires me. And he has this really cool Ave Imperator routine. I'm familiar with it. It's a very simple format. It's 100 reps of a given burpee movement, budgeting an equal number of seconds per rep. Once you complete that, you try and close down the seconds. I did that session a few months ago with the 6 counts using a 3-second window. I did 100 6 counts in 5 minutes, which felt great. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised at how that felt. I've done 100 quicker than that, but in a very uneven way. And actually just 100 straight through with a very demanding pace felt good. And, you know, I would recommend that you guys consider the occasional sprint session like that. Oh, we've got another commitment. 225 6 counts and 120 seals. Do it, Eugene. Do it. You can do it, my man. You know you can. Emil. Hey, great to see you, my man. I'm so glad that the Busy Dad program has been of benefit to you. You know, I just parted company with a cherished client today. He's moving in a different direction with his training, but he's carrying burpees with him. And if what the Busy Dad program does is imprint in you a love of burpee training, then, you know, I've done my job. I continue to think that the modality that I stumbled upon as a confluence of all kinds of coincidences is extremely powerful. And I would say that every time I see someone stray from it, they come back to me 6 months to a year later, and they're not in the kind of shape that they were. So I'd say if you are going to leave BDP behind, make sure that you've got something damn good to go to, because it's pretty hard to beat. But Emil, thrilled to hear that the practice has left its mark on you. All right, my friends, I've got to get out of here in a couple of minutes. Thank you, my friend. Burpeeing, exactly. It's burpeeing from Quebec. Good man, good man. Closing thoughts. It's January. It's a gift. January is just the best month of the year. Everybody I spoke to today, everyone I spoke to in December, there was this torpor that had descended on all of us. We're struggling through our training, struggling through our diet, struggling through life. And then you blast out the cobwebs and January comes around, and this is a very, very powerful opportunity that we are gifted here. A return to rigor, strictness. If there was ever a time to hold yourself to a higher standard than you're used to, it's now. Okay, so my friends, let's take some strides forward this month. Okay. I'm going to be striding, and I don't want to leave you guys behind. I want you to come with me. Let's stride forward. Let's hold ourselves to very, very high standards. Let's take our practices to the best place they've ever been. And if you're on the fence, now is a wonderful time to start building your practice. All right. I've missed all of you very much. I've been looking forward to this reunion, and you're going to be hearing a lot from me. So let's really show 2026 what we're about, and let's regroup as a community and work hard. All right. Much love to all of you. It's been really, really a pleasure to reconnect. We'll speak again soon.